You won't believe what's been buried beneath America's shining car industry. Thousands of brand new vehicles, never driven, never sold, sitting in silent fields across the country, rusting under the sun, collecting dust, waiting for a buyer who will never come. But these aren't abandoned junkers or crash test cars. They're the forgotten inventory of a system that had built too much, too fast. A graveyard born from the chaos of supply chains, overproduction, and corporate greed. From Ford to GM, Tesla to Toyota, every major automaker has felt the sting. And what's hiding behind those fences and storage lots reveals a darker truth about the American car market, one they'd rather you never see. Because what if the real crisis isn't in car prices, it's in the parking lots where millions of unsold dreams go to die. The story begins in 2020, a year that changed everything. The pandemic didn't just freeze economies, it shattered the supply chain that keeps the auto industry alive. Factories shut down, microchip production halted, and shipping delays created a shortage so severe that dealerships went empty. Used cars skyrocketed in price, and automakers were desperate to restart production. By 2021, when restrictions eased, manufacturers went into overdrive. Assembly lines roared back to life. Thousands of new vehicles rolled off the line every day, trucks, SUVs, sedans, all built to fill the hole left by the shortage. But here's the twist, demand had already changed. Consumers were buying less, interest rates were rising, and inflation had started eating into car loans. What began as a race to recover became a race against reality. By late 2022, something strange began appearing on satellite images, massive storage yards filled with unsold vehicles. From Detroit to Illinois, from the outskirts of Phoenix to small towns in Texas, empty farmland turned into makeshift parking lots. Row after row of gleaming cars, lined up like soldiers in formation, waiting for transport that never came. Reporters started calling them car graveyards. And though automakers tried to downplay it, saying the cars were in storage or awaiting parts, the scale was undeniable. Aerial photos showed tens of thousands of brand new vehicles just sitting, some covered in dust, others slowly deteriorating under open skies. In Illinois, thousands of Ford F-150s sat idle due to missing microchips. In Michigan, Stellantis filled airport runways with unsold Jeeps. GM had entire lots outside its Wentzville plant packed with unfinished pickups. Tesla's Fremont plant overflowed with Model Ys awaiting quality checks. Each car represented tens of thousands of dollars, frozen assets, quietly piling up while automakers scrambled for solutions. But here's where it gets darker. Even as these lots overflowed, dealerships across America kept raising prices. Customers were told there was a shortage. Yet, behind closed gates, inventory was rotting away. Automakers couldn't release them because missing chips or parts made them incomplete, but production never stopped. In some cases, the parts finally arrived, but by then, new model years were already rolling off the line. Outdated inventory was quietly scrapped or sold to rental companies at a loss. And while consumers struggled to buy a single car, automakers were secretly drowning in them. By 2023, experts estimated that more than 3.5 million unsold or unfinished vehicles were sitting in limbo across North America. That's enough to line cars from Los Angeles to Chicago, bumper to bumper. Some were later fixed and sold, but thousands were left to decay in hidden fields or repurposed as parts donors. So why does this keep happening? Because the American car market is built on one dangerous assumption: constant growth. Every year, companies project sales based on optimism, not reality. If Ford sold 2 million cars last year, they'll aim for 2.2 million next year. If GM misses a target, investors panic. And that pressure trickles down, from shareholders to managers to factory workers, until production becomes the goal, not sales. When cars don't move off lots fast enough, automakers rely on incentives, rebates, and fleet sales to clear space. But when the economy slows, those tactics collapse. The result? Overflow lots that look less like logistics and more like graveyards. It's not the first time this has happened. In 2008, during the global financial crisis, vast fields of unsold cars appeared across the US, UK, and Canada. Photos from that era went viral, thousands of shiny sedans parked in abandoned airfields. 15 years later, history is repeating itself. Only this time, the stakes are higher, because the average new car now costs over $48,000, and the debt attached to it is at record highs. But the graveyards aren't just about overproduction. They're about transformation. Electric vehicles have rewritten the rules. Legacy automakers are pouring billions into EV plants while still mass-producing gas vehicles that fewer people want. The transition isn't smooth, it's messy, filled with uncertainty. Some EVs, like Ford's F-150 Lightning and Chevy Bolt, have seen recalls and production halts, leaving parking lots full of battery-powered orphans. Others were built ahead of charging infrastructure, meaning supply outpaced demand. The result? Even the future, sleek, silent, and electric, has its own graveyards. Behind closed doors, insiders admit that parking cars is cheaper than halting factories. Stopping a production line can cost millions per day. So instead, automakers keep building, stacking cars like inventory in a warehouse, only the warehouse is 100 acres wide. It's a logistical illusion: keep the lines running, keep Wall Street calm, and hope the market rebounds before rust sets in. Meanwhile, dealerships fight a different battle. They're flooded with older models, struggling to sell vehicles financed at sky-high interest rates. Consumers, squeezed by inflation, are holding onto their cars longer, an average of 12.5 years, the highest in US history. That means fewer buyers, fewer trades, and more unsold cars collecting dust. And as if that wasn't enough, the used car bubble is bursting. During the pandemic, used cars were worth more than new ones. Now their prices are collapsing, leaving dealers stuck with overpriced inventory they can't move. It's a domino effect that all leads back to the same place, the graveyards. But what happens to these cars? Some are stripped for parts. Others are quietly sold overseas or scrapped entirely. In 2023, industry reports revealed that thousands of unsold US vehicles were exported to Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe, markets willing to take them at steep discounts. Others simply vanish, stored, written off, and forgotten. Environmentalists warn that these graveyards represent more than wasted money, they're a carbon disaster. Each unsold car carries a manufacturing footprint of roughly 7 tons of CO2. Multiply that by millions, and the environmental cost is staggering. These vehicles will never fulfill their purpose, yet they've already left a mark on the planet. Still, within the silence of these fields lies something strangely poetic. Every car is a story that never began, a journey that never started, a driver that never turned the key. Rows of potential frozen in time, waiting for a market that moved on without them. Somewhere out there, a Ford truck built in 2021 still has plastic on the seats, its odometer reading 0, its tires slowly sinking into the dirt. It's easy to see these images and blame the automakers, and in many ways, they deserve it. But the truth runs deeper. The graveyards are a mirror of our culture, fast, impatient, addicted to more. We demand new models every year, bigger screens, better engines, smarter cars, even when we don't need them. We celebrate innovation but ignore sustainability. And when the system breaks, the evidence doesn't disappear, it just gets parked out of sight. Today, as EV adoption grows and automation reshapes factories, the industry stands at a crossroads. The companies that survive will be those willing to slow down, adapt, and prioritize quality over quantity. But until that happens, the graveyards will keep growing, silent reminders of the cost of excess. So, next time you pass a dealership lot full of new cars, remember, there are millions more you'll never see. Cars that were built with care, precision, and dreams, only to end up in forgotten corners of America. Because beneath the glossy commercials and corporate press releases lies a truth too haunting to ignore. The American car market isn't just about motion, it's about the weight of what stands still. And somewhere in a fenced-off field, under a fading sky, the engines of progress wait quietly, for a world finally ready to slow down.